إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، أحسن الله لك العزاء في مصيبة ولدك الحسين. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، أحسن الله لك العزاء في مصيبة ولدك الحسين. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء، أحسن الله لك العزاء في قتل ولدك الحسين. السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، أحسن الله لك العزاء في أخيك الحسين. السلام عليك يا صاحب الزمان، أحسن الله لك العزاء في جدك الحسين. صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله، صلى الله عليك يا ابن رسول الله. السلام عليك يا غريب يا مظلوم يا شهيد بأرض كربلاء. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. I dare to imagine, I dare to think, how I wonder how many times this verse has been repeated throughout this journey. How many times has someone said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. I ask you, oh Allah, I ask you, oh Allah, how many times Sayyid al-Shuhada Aba Abdullah al-Husayn has said this verse, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. On the plains of Karbala, on the day of Ashura, on the 10th of Muharram, when Asghar was dead, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, with Asghar in his arms, he walks towards the tents, he stops, he returns back, he walks back and forth, saying, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Imam Hussein alayhi salam must have wondered, how am I going to return this child? How am I going to return this child to the mother? A mother who has been waiting by the tent, a mother who has been anxiously waiting for Ali al-Asghar. How many times Zainab al-Kubra has said this verse? How many times? How many times Sayyid al-Sajjad has said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. In the dungeons of Yazid, in Sham, Sakina receives the beloved head of her father, taking the beloved head of her father. Sakina cries herself to sleep. At the time of morning, at the time of Fajr Salah, Imam Zainul Abidin finds her sister lying on the ground of the prison floor motionless. Zainul Abidin, Sayyid al-Sajjad, takes her sister into his arms and says, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. I dare imagine how many times this very verse has been repeated throughout this journey. When a journey comes to an end, when a journey comes to an end, people reflect on what has happened. When a journey comes to an end, people start to remember what has happened. Today I ask you, let us remember what Sayyid al-Sajjad would have felt. Sayyid al-Sajjad, who cried for over 30 years after the events of Karbala. Today, let us remember what Sayyid al-Sajjad would be remembering. Maybe, just maybe, Sajjad remembers the last time he saw his father. Maybe Sajjad remembers the final farewell of his father Hussein alayhi salam on the day of Ashura. When Imam Hussein alayhi salam comes to the tents of Sajjad, he starts kissing his son. Sajjad looks up at him. He says, Father, what state is it that I see you in? Imam Hussein alayhi salam says, Son, Sajjad, I am going out to fight. Sajjad says, where is Habib? Where is Muslim? Where is Qasim, Umar and Muhammad? Where is Ali al-Akbar? Where is my uncle Abbas that you have to go out and fight? Hussein says, let it be known that out of the men, there is only me and there is only you remaining. Let it be known that even Ali al-Asghar is no more. Maybe Sajjad remembers the final farewell of his father. Maybe Sajjad remembers that time. Maybe he remembers that time when the caller called, Ala qad qutila Hussein bi Karbala, Ala qad dhubiha al-Hussein bi Karbala. Hussein has been killed in Karbala. Hussein has been slaughtered in Karbala. There is an uproar in the army of Yazid. There is a pandemonium. Sajjad, he is the voices of the enemies. He comes out of his bed. He removes the curtains from his tent. What does he see? He sees the head of his beloved father raised high on a spear. He says, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. What must have gone through the heart of that son who has to see his father in that state? But if it would have ended there, then I too would have stopped. But Sajjad's masa'ib, Sajjad's sorrows, Sajjad's grief do not end there. Why? Because Sajjad saw the looting of the tents. Sajjad saw the burning of the tents. Sajjad, he saw the ladies of the Ahlul Bayt, the ladies of the Holy Prophet, running from one tent to the other and from the other to the next. Sajjad saw, he saw the enemies galloping towards the daughters of Ali and Fatima. He saw them with spears in their hands to remove the veil from the daughters of Ali and Fatima. Sajjad remembers all of this. Sajjad saw blood flowing from his 4-year-old sister Sakina. Sajjad saw the burnt cloth on his sister Sakina. What does Sajjad remember today? today. Maybe Sajjad remembers being taken a captive from Karbala to Kufa, and from Kufa to Sham. And how was he taken? How was he taken as a captive? Was he made to sit on a camel like the other ladies? No, Sajjad was shackled. He was shackled from head to toe, and then he was made to walk. No, not walk, because when a person is made to walk at the pace of the camel, he does not walk, he has to run. Sajjad, who has yet to recover from his illness. Sajjad, who lost his entire family on a single day. Sajjad, who is shackled from head to toe, is now made to run as a captive, as a prisoner of war, all the way from Karbala, all the way to Sham. What does Sajjad remember today? Maybe Sajjad remembers, maybe, just maybe Sajjad remembers the weights of the chains on him. Maybe Sajjad remembers the heat of the desert sun on his chains. Sayyid Sajjad was not allowed to sit in the shade, and so his chains became hotter and hotter. Every once in a while, the ropes of the ladies would be untied, and Sakina would rush towards her brother. One day, Sakina ran towards her brother and hugged her brother. Sajjad screams out in pain. Sakina asks, "Brother, what's happened?" Sajjad says, "My chains are very hot. When you hug me, my chain press against my skin, and my skin begins to burn." Shortly after, water was given. You remember when water was given first to Sakina on Sham-e-Ghariba. Sham-e-Ghariba, Sakina runs towards the battlefield. She runs towards Asghar, saying, "I will give water to Asghar first." Over here, Sakina takes the water into her hands. Sakina's rushing towards her brother, pouring the water on the chains of Sajjad, saying, "These chains are burning the skin of my brother." Sajjad cried for over 45 years. But what made Sajjad cry the most? What made Sajjad cry for 35 years? There was one place which he kept repeating: Asham, Asham, Asham. What happened in Sham? All the tribulations of Sham, all the calamities of Sham, all the grief of Sham. After the Holy Family were released from the dungeons of Yazid in Sham, the Holy Family arrives in Medina. A caller calls out that, "Come, the family of Hussein have come." The first of persons to give condolences was a person by the name of Muhammad Hanafiya, the uncle of Sajjad. Muhammad Hanafiya rushes down to the tent. All he sees is ladies everywhere. He talks to himself. He says that my young son, nephew Sajjad would also be here. Mark my words, my young son, nephew Sajjad would also be here. He does not see any man. All he sees is ladies. Yes, he sees one man. He sees a man of old age. He sees a man whose hair has become white. He sees an old man whose eyebrows have become white. He sees a man of age who has wrinkles on his face, whose back is bent. Muhammad Hanafiya says, "Oh man of old age, I am here looking for my young son, nephew Sajjad. Have you seen him?" This old man lets out a cry, "Muhammad Hanafiya, Ana Ali ibn al-Husayn. I am your young son, nephew Sajjad." Muhammad Hanafiya, at that point, Hanafiya uncontrollably reaches out and hugs Sajjad. Sajjad lets out a scream. "Uncle, slowly. Muhammad asks, "Sajjad, what happened?" Sajjad screams. He says the whips of Shin, the chains of Yazid, and the wounds they inflicted upon me are yet to heal. Sajjad says, "Hug me, but hug me slowly." Mourners of the Ahlul Bayt, we give our condolences. We give our condolences to Sayyida Zainab Salamullahi alayha. In Sham, when the heads of the Shuhada were coming, Zainab takes the head of Hussein. Farwa takes the head of Qasim. Layla reaches out for the head of Akbar. Rubab takes the head of Asghar. The heads of Aun and the head of Muhammad are left on the side. The women of Sham begin to talk amongst themselves. They say, has the mother of these two children died? Because no one else would have left these two heads like that. Zainab looks up and she says, Zainab says, no, these two heads are my sons. Aun and Muhammad are my son. But I was unable to cry for my brother Hussein. So let me cry for my brother Hussein. When, after being released, Zainab comes to Medina, she comes into her house. She walks in. This is after a long time. Zainab comes to her house. Abdullah says, O daughter of Zahra, accept my condolences for the loss of your brothers. And they begin to cry. Shortly after, Zainab reaches out. She goes at the back of the house where a small room is situated. The rooms are locked. That room is the room of Aun and Muhammad. She goes in. What does she see? She sees the two musallas of Aun and Muhammad. She sits beside them. One thing which happened on the day of Ashura, when the bodies of Aun and Muhammad were brought into the tent, one of the brothers was still alive. Hussein says, Zainab, come quickly, your son is still alive, at least see him for the last time. Zainab comes closer. The son starts whispering. Zainab brings her ear closer to the son. Oh, the son says, my mother, we went to the Furat. I swear by you, oh my mother, we did not drink from the Furat. That Zainab did not cry for her sons Aun and Muhammad. After coming from Karbala, she sits between the two musallas. She looks at the two beds of the Aun and Muhammad. She begins to cry. Zainab looks at the musallas of Aun. She begins to cry. She looks at the musalla of Muhammad. She begins to cry. She calls out, Abdullah, give me my condolences. After all, Zainab is a mother. She asks for condolences for her two sons, Aun and Muhammad. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi